Good evening, dear viewers, and welcome to the News Bulletin at 8, brought to you by number one news provider, Eswatini TV. I am Nondomiso Vilagata alongside Namakabiso Nkambule. Let's take a look at our news-making headlines. Senate is divided over a provision of the National Registration and Vital Statistics Bill of 2022, which will allow female spouses to change their surnames if they want. Minister of Commerce, Industry and Trade says the International Sugar Organization Council session should not be a meeting solely for strengthening relations, but should also foster efforts to develop resilience in global industries. The Ministry of Home Affairs notifies the nation that the issuing of passports will be delayed until Monday, the 12th of June 2023. And now the news in detail. Senate is divided over a provision of the National Registration and Vital Statistics Bill of 2022, which will allow female spouses to change their surnames if they want. The bill says female spouses will be free to assume their husband's surnames, use their own surnames or double-barreled surnames. Some senators support this clause, while others say it is not in line with the Swazi custom.
Senators were divided over Clause 40 of the National Registration and Vital Statistics Bill 2022, which allows female spouses to change their surnames if they elect to at any time while married.
Lesiswati mangithatha umfati akusiye wami waleka masilela umfati manje la bonke labashada uyabona labashada silungu maka ebhange noma ubolekani basilanzwihlo basho le ndoda impilo yekwenza yemfati ikhungele emndenini lokuthi utawusi lendvodza nayithi ikhulumela batawukhuluma obabili lo mndeni utaba ushiyephi ngoba ngumndeni umfati nakenzile uba walomndeni
asithi sikhuluma silicabangele litiko tinkinga lelibhekana nato ngoba letinto leti atikasukeki nje ngqondweni kuyinto litiko lelidibene nato lelidibana nato day out day in
iphoqa bani lento lena ngoba vele singemaswati simihiba asine indlela lesiphila ngayo yeswati nalenya ngikuba ukuthi ngile iyathi ikona vele nayo.
The ministry responded.
Labanye bathi thina simvile umntwana ngosihlangabeza lapha uthi de umuntu osibongo sakhe uchubeka naso khona le emendweni lapha enze khona ngesiswati sho ukuthi nangabe wakankosi nale noma wakagininza solong la gininza khona le lapha enze khona lokho sokusiswati sisho njalo nje sithi lesibongo salomuntu solo sikhona so kude kaloku kuguculako lapha kulomthetho wethu lendlela esobhale ngayo.
The ministry asked that this clause be put on ice. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela with the Mbongwa Dube Parliament.
Minister of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Mangoba Khumalo, says the International Sugar Organization Council session should not be a meeting solely for strengthening relations, but should also foster efforts to develop resilience in global industries. The minister has said this when opening the 62nd Council session of the organization, which is held at the Royal Villas Eswatini. The organization has over 90 members from across the globe.
Minister of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Mangoba Khumalo, when opening the 62nd International Sugar Organization Council session, said Eswatini is among the top 5 producers of sugar in the world. He also challenged the organization.
The focus on the primary product, which is sugar, has proven to have some risks associated with it. Indeed, more can be produced from the stock of cane by creating various byproducts from the different stages of the production process. To this end, the government of the Kingdom of Eswatini has put a challenge to the Sugar Association. Minister of Finance and I met with the association at some point, and we placed this challenge on the table, and we said, can they collaborate with government in the establishment of a sugar industrial park that will focus on tertiary beneficiation of all sugar-related byproducts so that we can really maximize our diversification of this industry.
As Eswatini is doing well in sugar production, Eswatini Sugar Association Chief Executive Officer Banile Nyamane tells us what others can learn from this kingdom.
The members of the International Sugar Organization had an opportunity yesterday, to visit a number of our growers, mainly Tabangulu, who have taken further strides in terms of reducing their cost of production by generating their own power using solar energy. The other thing that they also experienced is that we are one of the leading countries in terms of using drip irrigation in the world. They were able to see that yesterday around the Simunya area.
The session is attended by experts in the sugar industry who will bring solutions to challenges faced by the industry. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosima Vimbela with Muzi Mkonda, Ezulwini.
Businessman Walter Bennett says the Royal Science and Technology Park Board should cover the broader sector of society for the purposes of a fair representation. Bennett says if education is the only door to board selection, the elderly should be given scholarships to study and be eligible. Bennett has said this in Senate when making his submissions on the Royal Science and Technology Park Bill of 2022.
Asingangeni kulelo mlingo kokuthi umuntu ngilolo ofunzile afunzeni afundiswe ngubani.
Let us not fall into the trap of thinking that educated people are the only ones who can make meaningful contribution in society. There should be complete representation because this institution will do business with banks and mines, among others. Let everyone be involved. Include smokers, non-smokers, pastors and sinners to show that this is for all eMaswati, not a selected few. Right now, we want to pass a bill that will make educated people the only people eligible for board selection. Who funded these people's education? Give us scholarships so we take the elderly to school so they can be board members as well.
The Forestry Department in the Ministry of Tourism and Environmental Affairs encourages the nation to use invasive plant species to their benefit. According to the Senior Forestry Officer in the Ministry of Tourism and Environmental Affairs in Mbegeni, some invasive species such as the Mexican flower make a great compost that farmers can take advantage of. Ngumalo says some of these invasive plant species can be used for medicinal purposes.
The United Nations Environment Programme states that invasive species have been identified as one of the 4 greatest threats to marine and coastal ecosystem, together with land-based sources of marine pollution, overexploitation of living marine resources and habitat degradation. Currently, the Kingdom of Eswatini, especially in the Highveld, a Mexican flower has been sprouting in different parts of the Highveld.
Bakubita ngesilumbi ukuthi Mexican sunflower. Ngilolunye lukhula lolungisanda nezwe lolu ngakhanza ukuthi lunemisebenzi leminyenti.
The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs Senior Forestry Officer Mbegeni Ngumalo has confirmed that the Mexican flower is indeed an invasive weed. Ngumalo says some invasive species have economic value, such as wattle trees. Ngumalo says eMaswati can make organic fertilizer out of the Mexican flower. He says in the Shiselweni region, there are students who have been able to convert these plants into charcoal, which has become their source of income. The Kingdom of Eswatini formulated a strategic plan with a clear plan on how to control these species, working with chiefdoms, organizations and ministries. For Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangini Themba Shabangu, Bapane.
Dear viewers, now take a short commercial break. Stay tuned.
We at Eswatini Television Authority are committed to observing the Eswatini Communication Commission's Broadcasting Code of Conduct.
Under the code, we are committed to broadcast news that is current, free from hate speech, accurate, balanced, and fair.
From politics to business, health, agriculture, courts, and global news, we bring you the latest updates as they happen, when they happen.
We cover all the sporting codes from the football pitch to the chessboards.
This is Eswatini TV News.
Tasephalamende luhlelo lapho sikulethela khona tindzaba letenteka etindlini totimbili tasephalamende elive lokungindlaba esikhulu nayo indlu yetimphunga.
First fruits, Mr. Speaker, is a big commitment biblically. The first fruit, Mr. Speaker, inakufa Jesu. Nakavuka, he became the first fruits of a future bountiful harvest later of the Russians.
Sinemsebenzi ke noko, Mr. Speaker, ukuthi le maswati ezathola lamathuba emsebenzi kube ngemathuba latawenda bakhona kuphila, Mr. Speaker.
This can't happen. Not at Ngudleni. Let them see it. Ngudla Parliament can actually make things happen.
Khiphani timoto ninike bogogo kudla ningasolo nisigabisela ngokuba ngwaba nisigabisela izindaba banikeni kudla bafuna kudla kude kudla la kule budget lekhona le.
Engudleni were inundated by bantwana labase high school labase secondary school bahleli ngaphandle abanamuntu lobafundisayo ngisho lithala lihlala, they can't go to class.
Uqala ibhizinisi, Mr. Speaker, akuqali ngemali, uqala ngelicustom.
Induna yaka finance sibambisile siqeda lo mnyaka nje, Speaker. Tinkundla letintathu setiphelile letinsha lapha wekunene asisekele ngetimali khona.
I-RDF, Speaker, sikhwama lesi strategic event. Induna yaka finance ayikubone kungiko lokuthi lesikhwama lesi asimane siphakame la kulala la simekho.
Thuku ngalonyaka nangu 128 million so ubuka works again. Namahenga langaka la solo akhiwa solo sangena. Atazabe mangaki.
By far and large, the speech, your budget speech, has spoken to most of the things that His Majesty alluded to on the part. Le mande asala.
Even lele maswati yokuphela kokuthi thishela abe permanent post kepha yena abe temporary.
Konke lokhu nalokunye kuwo lo msakazo njalo ngalesithathu unayishayile insimbi yemfica ebusuku.
Welcome back. You're still watching Eswatini TV. The Ministry of Home Affairs notifies the nation that the issuing of passports will be delayed until Monday, the 12th of June 2023. The Ministry's Communications Officer, Mlandvo Dlamini, says the delay is caused by unforeseen circumstances where the production center was damaged by water. Dlamini says the ministry is working diligently to normalize the situation.
Siltiko lata sekhaya singathanda ukuxolisa isiveni ngekuphathamiseka ikakhulu ekhipheni bobhukwana bekuphuma elaveni.
The Ministry of Home Affairs informs the general public that there has been a disruption of service regarding the issuance of traveling documents and passports. According to the ministry's communications officer, Mlandvo Dlamini says this is due to unforeseen circumstances. Dlamini says the production center has suffered damage caused by water, which has unfortunately impacted their ability to provide timely delivery of these documents. Dlamini says they want to assure the public that they are doing everything in their power to rectify the situation and restore normal service delivery as soon as possible. Dlamini says the nation should expect delays in the issuance of the traveling documents and passports until Monday, June 12, 2023.
The National Maize Corporation Chief Executive Officer Mavela Vilana says privately owned tractors play a huge role in the production of maize in the country. Vilane says most of the government tractors are broken, which becomes a huge challenge for farmers during the farming season. Vilane says privately owned tractors are accessible instantly, especially during the rainy season.
The National Maize Corporation is working with private tractors owners in ensuring that farmers are able to access tractor services on time.
Lichaza lebadlalile dzadzewethu ma private tractor owners lisetulu kakhulu.
Speaking about the cooperation that exists between the National Maize Corporation and the private tractor owners, the NMC CEO Mavela Vilane says most government tractors are broken, which hinders farmers from being able to plow on time, especially during the farming season. Vilane says if it wasn't for the cooperation that exists between NMC and the Private Tractor Owners Association, most farmers would have not been able to produce their targets. According to a report by the Ministry of Agriculture, shows that in 2022, privately owned tractors plowed over 30,000 hours, which translates to over 12 million emalangeni that was paid by government to the tractor owners. NMC, through the Ministry of Agriculture, is given a mandate to produce 140,000 metric tons of maize annually. Eswatini, TV News on Domlangeni, Temba Shabangu, Matapa.
Dear viewers, now take a look at our financial updates. In our sports news, we begin with the Eswatini Football Association president, who says the federation needs to have a good working relationship with all sports reporters because they are the mouthpiece of the nation and the organization. Similana was speaking during a meeting with all sports reporters from all the media houses in the country.
A harmonious relationship between the Eswatini Football Association and local sports journalists can make the nation get accurate and fair news, according to the Eswatini Football Association president. Local journalists met with the association president, where they inquired about some of the urgent issues around local football, like the national team and the state of Somhlolo National Stadium.
Looking at the country was banned from hosting FIFA and CAF games. Rehabilitation yasomhlolo nina ning ifa, are you happy with it?
Kulo 3 million lo extra stella manenisi.
Patizo Msibi is asking if it's possible for the Eswatini Football Association to build a mini stadium with proper seats with the FIFA funding. The IFA president, together with the chief executive officer, then responded to the questions asked by the journalist.
I-performance yabo coach siya review on a yearly basis noma ke makuphela le contract.
President says the Football Association does not interfere with the work of the technical team because they have to be accountable for their job.
Ikwakha stadium, let's say 20,000 seater stadium, lesincane singmalini. You'd see ukuthi stadium is close to $1 billion or even more, depending on the architecture of the stadium. Then sasa $3 million, we are multiply noma we are divider. You will see ukuthi ngafuna sime another 7-8 cycles kuzothi sakhe stadium ngale mali lekhona.
Simelana promised the nation that from now on they will get accurate news, especially if it's concerning the senior men's national team. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports, I'm Linda Dlamini, Mbabane.
That is all we had for tonight, but before we wrap up, we'll take a quick recap of today's headlines. Senate is divided over a provision of the National Registration and Vital Statistics Bill of 2022, which will allow female spouses to change their surnames if they want. Minister of Commerce, Industry and Trade says the International Sugar Organization Council session should not be a meeting solely for strengthening relations, but should also foster efforts to develop resilience in global industries. The Ministry of Home Affairs notifies the nation that the issuing of passports will be delayed until Monday, the 12th of June 2023. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin tonight. Up next is the weather focus for selected towns. Good night, Eswatini.
the break with holiday entertainment for the whole family on DSTV.
I got that crazy happy feeling and I'm ready to set it free.
Bring on the action.
Let's do this.
Bring on the drama.
What is going on?
And definitely bring on the laughs.
This is where it all happens. Like what you see on TV, this is it right here.